One of the main reasons Greenbelt was built was that it was a relief project, so the idea was to put people to work. The workers were transported from Washington, D.C. on trucks and buses and bused here. The workforce was made up of both white workers and African American workers. However, the community, because of segregation in this area, was not open to African American families. So despite the fact that the workforce was made up of both African Americans and white workers, only the white families would be able to apply to live here. Once people were accepted into the community after the selection process and began living here, one of the main challenges that Greenbelters faced was getting in and out of Washington, D.C., as many residents did work there. Many of the male residents worked there. One thing that the Greenbelters did was to organize to have a bus service come through the center of town that would take these workers to Branchville, to the streetcar, and that was the way that they got into the city. There also was a lot of carpooling that took place. By 1939, about 60% of the families here did own a car, and many of those people carpooled in and out of the city. Another of the planning features that was included here in Greenbelt was the use of areas that were set aside for banks of garages that would house cars. The planners flipped the orientation of the homes so that the service side of each home actually faced the street, and that was where services required to run the household would take place, so mail delivery, trash pickup, laundry hanging. The other side, the garden side, was the side by which people would come and go from their homes and access the system of walkways and pathways to get them throughout the community. The things that we know from contemporary newspaper accounts was these cul-de-sac areas were criticized as roads to nowhere. People made fun of the plan and didn't understand it. And of course, no one realized that the cul-de-sac would become such a mainstay of post-war suburban development. Places like Columbia, Maryland, and Reston, Virginia, both have elements of Greenbelt that are included. There's a community in Florida called Celebration, Florida, that has some of the same features. And we find that we are getting more and more attention as people talk about smart growth and ways to manage having people and cars coexist. We know that many people come to Greenbelt to look at how the pedestrian pathways function and the benefits of having areas that are actually closed to vehicular traffic. In a lot of ways, a true blueprint of the possibilities that could be achieved.